Hello, everybody, and welcome to More Trades. Welcome to another update. We're going to be looking at the markets. We're going to look at Ethereum, Bitcoin, the DXY. Possibly, we're going to be looking at Nasdaq, Dow Jones, maybe Litecoin, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Before we get started, if you haven't already, smash the likes, subscribe to the channel, and join the free Discord. Okay, so I'm gonna take a look at something interesting. Where is it? I had something up here ready. Yeah, there we go. Binance could face fraud charges, but prosecutors worry about risk of bank run. The price of Bitcoin and Binance BNB token immediately fell following the report. This was yesterday. We had a report that Binance is thinking of Binance may face fraud charges, but prosecutors are afraid that we might face a bank run like FTX or FTT when they start sensing things that are going to happen like this. You see a bank run, and that may cause Binance US to go down or collapse, or a lot of people to lose their money with that move. It was already publicly known US officials were scrutinizing Binance earlier this year. The Community Futures Trading Commission sued the company and founder CEO Shenpeng CZ Zhao for willful evasion of US laws. So basically, CZ is in trouble, Binance US, we already know that, but now the SEC is kind of being a bit cautious with going full on, but it might go ahead, but because they're afraid of bank run happening and causing a collapse like with FTX. On another news, this was 2 days ago, I believe, it was on the 31st of July, we had, this was another reason why we had a move down because of Richard Hart, accused by the SEC for using investors' money, around 12 million, for his own personal luxurious stuff. He has a black diamond called the Enigma, supposedly the largest diamond in the world, 555 carat black diamond. He used investors' funds in that, and at the moment I believe he is responding to that. I've seen another article, but yeah, that's another reason why we saw the reaction in Hex and Impulse Chain, the dump that happened. Now getting back into the chart and enough of the FUD. As you can see, Ethereum, today Ethereum, Alright, Ethereum on the other hand, Ethereum has been holding the lows. However, it doesn't look so bullish. We made new lows yesterday. On the 1st of August, we had made new lows. And today we're just making higher lows, but it doesn't mean much. We might still continue lower. It's just very possible we continue lower. Now look at that. Now, if I wait, let me just adjust the volume of the music. Can't hear anything. So Ethereum, let me just check the volume. How's the volume? Okay, sorry about that. Back to the charts. Now, yeah, I was saying Ethereum has made new lows, and we broke the lows that we've been holding since you could see I believe the beginning of July, actually 28th of June, somewhere around there. Yeah, 28th of June. So since the 28th of June, we've been holding these lows. We weren't able to break these. We were holding them very well, 1811, but we broke them finally a few days ago, or was that the 1st of August? But it wasn't a sustained break. You see, there was an immediate demand wick, and we did sort of a double bottom, came and formed slightly higher low, and shifted out to the outside, to the upside. Now, if you take a Fibonacci retracement, you'll notice a lot of times, take it from the bottom of the first leg, or if it's an M formation, from the top of the first leg, and go to the midpoint, where you start seeing it forming the neckline, and then bring it down. You notice that we come to the 0.618. However, here we went all the way to the 0.887. So it wasn't a usual one, but it happens sometimes. And then we recover the candle, as we usually say. We come down, then we come back up and recover it. And then I was telling you something when I was talking about the Litecoin in the Litecoin video, that if you see a quick move up, be ready for a short. Well, Ethereum did that. We had 1, 2, 3 fast pushes to the upside on the hourly chart, rejection perfectly almost on the 800 EMA, and we started coming down again. And we recovered the up push. Now we're holding. There's two possibilities here. I see in the chart one of two things being formed over here. First, I need to tell you my bias. My bias is we're gonna have one more push to the downside, at least one more, possibly to the range of 1795 to 1785. That's my range. It could go lower. I might be wrong, but we still have this insufficiency over here that could take you down all the way to the 1730 range. Yeah, so you need to be, and if you break that, then you're coming even lower. You have some sort of insufficiency over here as well that could take you down to the 1666, where this whole move started impulsing to the upside in June. You see, we impulsed so strongly to the upside, but we didn't have a strong follow through. Now, if I see us start coming down, breaking the 1785, I'll keep an eye on these levels for Ethereum. I'll keep an eye on the 0.618. It's right there, at 1781. Almost perfectly. Golden pocket retracement from the bottom of the 16th of June all the way to our peak over here. Takes it down to the 1785. The value area low is right next to it. And golden pocket. And probably you'll find an EMA aligning at the moment, maybe on higher time frames. 200 EMA on the daily is coming in around that range. Of course, it will move higher or lower depending on the price action. So yeah, my next target to watch for a possible bounce for Ethereum, 1785, 1795. Lower time frames, that's where you see the beginning of the move. We haven't got a reason yet to think we're going long. We're still struggling at the 50 EMA. Now let's go back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin value area high, we broke above it. We came all the way up here, retested this trend line and the POC of the May 2022 range. POC, trend line, ascending trend line that I had it over here, retested it, wicked above it, recovered. Remember I was telling you that we will recover these insufficiency. We still have something here for Bitcoin. Could take you all the way up to 31k. Possible? Maybe. Now, since you lost the value area high, you lost the POC on the daily, you did not close above it, you struggled. You came down, and you came down to the, you might come down again to the value area low. At the moment, what are you doing? You're testing another range as value area high. This is the current big range that we have here, the value area high for it. That's what you're testing now. You're back testing it in a bearish way. Look at that. You lose this, that would tell me you're coming down to the POC. Of course, you might bounce over here at this value area low of May 2022, but POC at around 28,022 could be your next target. Keep an eye on that. That's targets to the downside. To the upside, you still have the POC to get over, 29,788. If we come again, it's a good point to think of a short. If you come in and see it struggling on smaller time frames, getting a nice rejection as it was very strong support and became strong resistance. We have a big insufficiency over here for Bitcoin. Could take you down to 27k. Very possible. 27,130. Look at these candles, one after the other. You barely ranged in any way. Like you had a big push here, push. My TA tells me you would come down at least halfway through. Halfway through of assuming this one big push, if you say it was one big push, halfway through could take you, okay, you've done it already, 28,741. I still think you have more to go. On the 4 hourly, this is the 4 hourly, you have the VWAP coming at 26,783. So your VWAP is at 26,800 on the daily and on the 4 hourly, around that range. 26.8 would be a zone of interest if we come down that low. So 27,130, you might wick to 26.8 to bounce again. You need to be aware we were holding this very strong 25k for the past 18th of March till today. We tested it only twice and bounced off. If we come again, there's a chance there could be a bounce off, but once you get to these zones, you're on a risk of even coming lower. The dollar index is important because the markets react to the dollar's movements. So if the dollar is bullish, markets will be bearish. Now, looking at the dollar itself, you will notice that it's been bullish for the past few days. We've been moving up. To be fair, we've been moving up from the 18th of July. Been making progress, slow progress, but nevertheless, some progress. We're going up. And that's bearish for the markets. I'm not really liking the movement of the dollar. It's not really as impulsive as I would like it to be. But yeah, we have some choppy movement going up in a diagonal. Either it's a leading or an ending. Either way, we might have some more pushes up after some retracement. So for this to continue up bullishly, the dollar has to hold the 0.5 at 101.3009 for it to be still a bullish move to the upside, in my opinion. 101.309. So that's the line I wouldn't want to see the dollar break. 101.3000. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Oh, why did it move? There you go. 101.3009. 101.3. We don't want the dollar to break this high. It could come down, touch it, and then continue high, but we don't want it to break. Nasdaq has been pushing lower for the past few days. That's why the markets are going lower. Dow Jones. Is the AI hype over? I doubt it, but maybe it's taking a slight break. SPY has big gap over here, could go up to recover it. We have a gap here for the ES, that's S&P 500 mini futures, down here at 4,300. Now I'd like to look at Litecoin. Litecoin's halving happened. I was telling you in my Litecoin video that historically we've seen a run up in 2019 and 2015 just before the halving. But then we get a dump of around 70 to 80+%. So what happened with Litecoin, I assumed that this was the run up before the halving. It happened. It didn't happen directly just before it, but that's it. That we had a small run up over here. You can say this was the run up. Halving happened. This was our run up into the halving from June all the way up here. And from here, if we dump, if you saw my video yesterday, I gave a crazy price for Litecoin. You could have insane dump for Litecoin. I don't know if a lot of people are calling for that at the moment, but I'm calling for it. I'm telling you that there could be a dump for Litecoin. You don't have to sell all your Litecoin at the moment, but this is a dump that could happen. If you see 70% from that peak, and let's pull down 70%. 26, 60. If we just say 70 happens, Litecoin will go down to $34. That's the risk you're running. $30, $34. Let's just say $35. Litecoin could see that. Of course, it won't take one straight drop. Previously, I've seen it went like this. We came down, then we had a spike, possibly 100% rally from the bottom all the way up. Then we continued down. Sorry, I went lower than $30, but it took us all the way to March. I went too far. March would be somewhere here. So somewhere in March, that's where Litecoin could bottom before the run up again. So somewhere here we might have a spike up again on Litecoin and continue down. But however, it hasn't done what it's done before, as in a strong run up just before the halving, so it doesn't have to behave the same way. I told you if it goes up, I would expect 95 at least. I'm sorry, I was wrong. We went to, this was the day after I posted, I believe. It went up to 94.64. I posted a video on this day, I think, and on here we had a 94.64, very close to that 95. So if you are watching the video and you are watching the charts, you could have entered your short. That would be a nice drop of around, what was that? %9 drop. From this point, you would have dropped a 9% drop. That's beautiful with leverage. That would be great. It has big red candles. When are they going to get recovered? Maybe tomorrow we're going to see a run up again. These are big juicy candles. This is liquidity. This is money. This is a lot of people short over here. Look at this instant recovery. One day we went full green, next day full red. This day we had a green candle, next day red. Now I'm telling you here, if this closes like a pin bar or some kind of doji, I would expect that maybe tomorrow we have a run up, maybe recover halfway or all the way to 95. Maybe. That's for Litecoin. Solana, for the Solana gang. Solana levels, what can I say? Solana is back into this green box that I had. This box for Solana, I was saying it's a POC, the box for the POC, and a box where we want to hold. I'm gonna try and explain that explain this zone. 23.252. So this zone is between 23.6 and 22.8. 23.6, 22.8. So I'm going to draw a box again, and I'm going to explain that zone and see, try to understand. 22.8, 23.6. That's the zone. Oops. I drew that zone. Okay. We had the POC in the middle over here. And I believe it was possibly a retracement level that I wanted Solana to hold. And I think Solana should hold. No. It is a POC. But I'm quite sure it's a zone that I was interested in. Now let's look at that. We had a move up. Spiked up. That's our third. Now if I say okay, where do I want Solana to hold and why? Okay, maybe, I can't remember, but if this is to continue higher, I don't want it to drop below the $19, 19.9. I can't remember why I had this zone. Possibly it was a horizontal support and resistance. Looking left, you have some resistance zone over here, and it was a POC. So I was like, this is a strong zone to hold, and it is still a strong zone to hold. If Solana wants to hold, this is a place to hold. So I would say Solana needs to hold this, need not break the daily 50 EMA, and it needs to hold this and blast off from here. But this move down doesn't look complete. Even if it's a correction, a pullback, you need a, if I say a 1 or an A down here, a pullback and a B, you would come at least to the 19 or even the $14, $15 range. Remember, I had those targets to the downside. I told you it's very possible we come down. I have them here, $16 and $12 range. And I have even lower targets for Solana, $5 to $7, $8 to $9. These zones are still over there in my chart. Solana is not out of the woods, in my opinion. In the sense of value area high, we've lost it over here. It has moved from since I plotted it. POC, we're just, look at that. We are under the POC. That's not good. You don't want to be under the POC, because when you're under the point of control, that tells you that you might be heading down to the value area low, which at the moment is at around 19.5. That's just trading volume profile. We recovered this big insane green candle that we had since 14th of July. Everyone thought it's gone. We're going up. We recovered the whole thing almost. We still have this zone. We still have this zone all the way down to $15. So I'm telling you, it is very possible we come down on Solana. Matic somewhat looks like Solana, but much weaker. It's below the 50 EMA on the daily. I believe on the 4-hourly as well, we are below. Yeah. So at the moment, we came back, retested the 50 EMA. That's a point to enter short. This is on the 4-hourly, and you would trade it down. Now we're pulling back again. That tells me maybe there is a chance it might rotate. As I see, a red candle did not follow through. These next 4-hourly candles, equivalent to almost 2 days, did not follow through to the downside. So that's some hope for Matic. We might come up. And if Matic comes up, what zones should we be aware of? On the 4-hourly, you have the 200 EMA, 0.721. On the 1-hourly, yeah, I'll be looking at that level, 0.72. If we come up, if it has any juice in the tank. Does it have any volume? Okay, volume was increasing on the way down and then narrowed down, and now volume is again trying to push up, but not significantly. 4-hourly volume Nothing. Daily. Daily. This is your move up here. You can see you started here. You move up. Volume declination. You had spikes in volume, but volume declination. So yeah, nothing much. Hex, ever since Richard Hart accused or being sued by the SEC, we can see what happened. Terrible, very, very bad. Look at that. Where is that? This is on the daily. When was the news? 2 days ago. So Hex has dropped from 31st July. We've dropped 57%. Ouch. That's bad. Now, when I look at it, it's also very good for people who are interested in buying Hex. Well, I don't have any historical data over here. Let me try and see another chart for Hex. Hex USD. I hope there is a Bitstamp one so I can get maximum data. Let's go to crypto. Okay. Hex USD. There, I have more data, I guess. Yeah, we are in Hex. Hex has hit yesterday, 2nd of August. Hex literally went all the way down and touched 12 December 2020 lows. Wow, that's insane. That will be Bitcoin after the COVID crash. Mind blowing. Yeah, mind blowing. Yeah. Life and distractions. What can we do? December 2020. December 2020. Bitcoin. If we say Bitcoin does what Hex does, but that's because Hex got so very, very bad news. December 2020, Bitcoin's high was, well, we've hit December 2020 lows in Bitcoin, I believe. Yeah, we came as low as 18, 15, so it's fine. But yeah, Hex, unfortunately for people who are heavily invested in Hex and in Pulse Chain, I would say one thing. For people who bought Hex since December and held it through the whole bull run when Hex was at around almost 0.56 and watched it go all the way back to 0.0056 again. That's, yeah, 2 zeros. This is a good buy zone. If I was to think, should I buy anything? But is it a good buy timing? No, it's not a good buy timing simply because you don't buy now. Because there's a lot of FUD. Unless you're one of those investors who really believe in, oh, when there's blood in the streets, I'm going to buy. But what if it starts tanking like Luna, Terra Luna? What if it starts tanking like Terra Luna and then people lose their funds? So if you want to throw in a small amount of money, $50, $30, and experiment with it and see what happens within a year or two, well, it's not a bad point. I mean, you're getting it much cheaper than people who bought it over here in March 2023, or even cheaper than people who bought it in May 2022, or even some people, I'm sure a lot of people bought it in September 2021 when it was at its all-time high. And the proof of that is this wick. There was a wick and people got liquidated. Some people held on. Yeah, so I would say it's a good point to buy, a price to buy. Point in time, I'm not so sure. Now Litecoin having done, what do I expect for Litecoin? See, I had it marked out here, Litecoin halving. I was expecting a run up into the halving. This is on the 4-hourly. We sort of had a small push up, and I put the line over here, and after the halving happened, or just before that, we started declining in price. So let's measure out. Since the halving came, which is supposed to be bullish, Until now, Litecoin has dropped 9%. And as I said, it could drop another 70% in the next 8 months. From now till March, you could see a decline in Litecoin for 70%. Historically, looking at 2019's halving and what happened after that, there was 8 months. Was it 8 months? No, 7 months. From August till March, you had a dump of around 70 to 80%. That is very good news for me because that gives me an opportunity to pick up Litecoin for 30 bucks. Some people bought Litecoin at the highs when Litecoin was at around 240 bucks. I will wait for cheaper prices. Or some people bought it when it was at 415 bucks. I'll wait for 30 bucks. That's a nice discount. I'll buy me 1, 2, maybe 100 Litecoin. No, I don't think so. I'll invest that heavily in Litecoin. But yeah. Anyhow, that's the update for today. Hope you liked it. If you did, hit the like, subscribe, share the videos, and join the free Discord. And if you really like to support the channel, link is in the channel description. You could do that through PayPal. It says buy me a coffee, and it will be much appreciated. More trades, I'm out.